What's up? So I wanted to talk about something that I've seen happen over the years. Unfortunately, something that causes a lot of damage, causes a lot of bitterness and negative feelings. And what that is that someone, is going along throughout life. They get saved, and then maybe they're saved for a while, and then they start studying things out, right? And they come across certain issues. Let's say holidays like Christmas, um, issues like problems with music and movies, Disney, video games, whatever it may be, witchcraft and all those types of things. And then they come to a decision that these things are wicked. They need to get rid of them. They need to stop watching them or participating in something, all these other types of things. And then after they make that decision, they just go full scorched earth, and they completely disregard the feelings of their spouse, their children, everybody around them, and they just completely do a 180, throw everything away, condemn everything, and just have this, they become hard-hearted, and people are upset, and they say, you don't get to complain, and all these other types of things, right? And upset everybody. And a lot of times, what happens is it makes people bitter. It can make children bitter, spouses, and maybe even secretly. Maybe they will harbor bitterness in their hearts. They'll be upset with that person for a while, maybe even years after that, because of the way that they approach something. And because, a lot of times this was someone who was participating in certain things, allowing certain things, and then all of a sudden they just do a 180 and barely even explain anything and just say it's all of the devil, goodbye, burn it all down. It can cause a lot of damage. And so what I just wanted to make this short video to explain what I believe is a better approach, the wiser approach, which is that if you have been involved in something, like I said, you've been celebrating, one of these holidays like Christmas, and you think you come to the conclusion that you shouldn't anymore, or whatever, occultism and bad stuff with movies and music and video games, whatever it may be, and you say, I don't want anything to do with this anymore, I'm going to stop. The best thing to do is that, yes, you can stop right away, and anything that you personally own, get rid of, whatever it may be, but you need to have a different type of talk with whoever may be your family, whether it's spouse, children, everyone. You sit them down, you explain to them, what's going on, that you came to a certain conclusion, how you came to that, and that maybe you need to apologize for allowing certain things to go on, for endorsing certain things, and say, you know what, I changed my mind now, I've repented of these things. Especially when it comes to children, you allowed your children to participate in certain things, become emotionally attached to these things, and then you just pull it away from them. You can't just do that out of nowhere and barely offer an explanation. That's going to cause a lot of damage and pain. So don't just be hard-hearted and rip it all apart and burn it all down. You need to sit down in humility, with gentleness, and calmly explain why you came to that conclusion, why these things are wrong, from the Bible, through other research, whatever it may be, and explain to them why you're going to do that and why you're going to go in that direction. Now, this might be different depending on what your role is, because it's going to be different between men and women. Okay? If you're the man, you're a husband, you're a father, then you have more responsibility and authority, and you do have the authority to say, hey, we're not going to be doing this anymore, we're not going to be participating in these things anymore, and that I'm going to get rid of certain things. Okay? But you got to make sure you have a long explanation, sit down, make sure you apologize, humility, pray with them, and all these other types of things. Because it's going to be upsetting. And when it comes to children, make sure that they know that you love them and you're going to spend time with them, doing different things. With your spouse, same thing. All those types of things, okay? And just be very careful how you approach it, but you do have more authority to get rid of things. Now, if you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a wife, it's a little bit different, because you can't just come to this conclusion. I've seen this cause a lot of fights, a lot of bad fights. The woman studies these things out. Oh man, this is wicked, that's wicked, and they're like, I don't want to do any of this stuff anymore. And then they feel like it's their job to tell their husband we're going to stop all this stuff, and it's wicked, and blah blah blah. And then if he's not exactly on the same page, it's going to cause a lot of fights. Okay? And so they got to be careful, because they can't just go in and make everybody stop everything. But, what they should do is anything that they participate in, they could, repent of it. Say, I'm not going to participate in these things anymore. Have a sit-down talk, especially with the husband. Say, I don't believe I want to participate or do these things, certain types of things anymore. I believe it's wrong. This is the conclusion I came to about this certain thing. Talk to them about it as much as you can. And if they're not persuaded, then you just don't participate. You pray for them, pray about it, but don't be nitpicking and nagging and acting self-righteous and acting like a Pharisee and harping on people over and over again, because honestly, you're going to make it worse and worse. And the more you do it, eventually, you're just going to push them in the other direction. They're not going to listen to you anymore. That's a fact. Okay? So you got to be real careful that it is different between a man and a woman. That's just a fact. Okay? So make sure you listen to that. Okay? So, but the bottom line is, no matter who it is, the worst thing to do is just come out of nowhere, acting like a self-righteous Pharisee. It's all wicked, it's of the devil, goodbye, and throwing everything out, and all of a sudden you're, being judgy of everyone else that's doing these things, instead of coming in humility and saying, I was wrong. I was wrong too. And you're saying, I'm personally convicted of it. I don't want to have anything to do with it anymore, because I don't believe it's pleasing to God. And that's the attitude you should have. And that will have an impact. And as long as you show, restraint, grace, charity, you'd be surprised how big of an impact it has. You're sober, you're charitable, you have grace and humility. Could be convicting. But you will not be persuasive if you're loud and proud. Coming in as the top Pharisee church lady, coming in to condemn every little thing and beat people into the ground, and you're burning everything and throwing it in the trash out of nowhere. That's a great way to make everyone upset and very upset with you. And also create bitter kids who grow up to rebel against you, leave the house, leave the faith. That happens too, sadly. So be careful in how you approach these things. Can have very damaging effects, long-lasting effects, negative emotional impacts on your family. So, don't make just because you're convicted of something, don't make, yourself the conscience of other people, right? Like you're lording over their conscience. And to try to be and being self-righteous. It's just going to be very hurtful. Okay? So, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think we need to say a lot more. It's just a word of caution. Doing those things, I've seen a lot of damage. Be careful. You study those things, because you see some videos on my channel. I have a video about Christmas. I talk about this in the beginning. I talk about, in the beginning of that video, a word of caution about taking the proper approach to this. How to talk to people about it, your family, to be careful about it, the way you go about it, and all these other types of things. And that applies to many other different things. If you watch something on my channel, you study it out, you come to a conclusion, just be careful how you treat other people after you make a decision. All right? So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that's helpful to you, and helps you in dealing with these issues and with your family. God bless you. Have a good day.